And you have the first magnetic field reverses, and immediately after that you have the ice age. That's it. That's what happens.
Hi, good morning. It's Gene from maverickstar Observatory. And yes, I'm a real scientist. And you know who that guy is. And you know all the others are that will not even mention my name on the subject of magnetics or field magnetics or geomagnetics. Won't even mention my name once. They'll mention everybody else that is talking about the subject of geomagnetics and the magnetic pole reversal, but won't even mention my name once. I know who these people are. I clearly know who they are. In fact, they'll mention my name in a disadvantageous way. The reason why they won't is because they're afraid that their subscribers will come over to this channel and pay more attention to me. But you know who the guy was at the beginning of this video. And it's very easy to, find out who he is. His name's under the title. But how accurate is the information he's giving out to people? We're looking at, on the screen, all the magnetic excursions. An excursion, for those that don't know, is a temporarily change in the magnetic field. It's not a complete reversal like we last experienced 780,000 years ago. But what he's saying is, what first happens is a magnetic reversal, and then we go into an ice age. This guy seems to me to not understand the difference between a glacial period and an ice age. And he doesn't know too much about the mechanics that take place during magnetic reversals, because he seems to think that after we have a magnetic reversal or even an excursion, we go into an ice age. It's very easy to prove that this guy is lacking in the knowledge. And I could easily target a lot of well-known YouTubers that are talking literal dribble. They've got no education in the field that they talk, and yet people pay attention. And I know exactly why that is. On this channel, what we really lack is the ability to entertain people. And I just want to say this: when somebody is talking as though they've got a script in front of them and they're not making any mistakes whatsoever, you need to pay attention to that, because they are selling you something. We don't sell cups, we don't sell mugs and t-shirts on this channel. What we do is provide a service, and hopefully more people will begin to recognise that, because we're going to change our game very, very shortly. It just really annoys me that people are getting away with blue murder, and people that have no education in the field in which they're talking about seem to be getting all the subscribers under the sun. Yet a very few people, like myself, seem to get pushed back all the time, held back all the time. Why is that? Let me just explain something. These people are not using anything scientific. They've got no equipment in the field. They're not qualified to talk about the subjects they are, and they're self-proclaimed researchers. And I swear to God, some of the nonsense that they come out with, I could completely rip their arses for it. It just annoys me, because we are living in times of great changes, and there are some significant anomalies taking place and about to take place, and yet people are being led by the Pied Piper. Remember what he said. He said, first of all we get a magnetic reversal, and then we get an ice age. Have a look at this.
And you have the first magnetic field reverses, and immediately after that you have the ice age. That's it. That's what happens.
What I've done here for you should be clear as daylight. I've just put the last 5 or 6 last excursions that took place on our Earth on a period of time so that you can see when they occurred, and more so what the temperature of our Earth was doing at that point in time. Now, he said, first of all, you get the magnetic excursion or the magnetic reversal, and then you get the Ice Age. But first of all, apart from Gothenburg, which happened 12,000 years ago, as you can see on there, all the others took place in a glacial period, not an Ice Age. There's a difference between glacial periods and Ice Ages, and the reason why I am trying to get it through people's heads is that we are going back into a glacial period, and everything suggests that. You know, we're not just dreaming up this stuff. These are facts. But as you can see, Ice Ages, and you should know this, Ice Ages don't occur in glacial periods. This is crazy. You know, there has been, as you can see, Gothenburg, Lake Mungo, Mono Lake, Lashchamp, East Greenland and Taba all occurred in a glacial period. So these have got nothing to do, these excursions have got nothing to do with the climate at all, because they don't affect it. There isn't a dramatic drop after one of these that plunges the Earth further into coldness. It was already in a glacial period to start with. But these are excursions, and the reason why I don't talk about excursions enough is because really they weren't completed reversals. They were, as they are, just excursions. You know, I hope I've pointed out something clear to you guys out there today. You've got to be careful where you get your information from, and you've got to check that information before you act on it, because there's a lot of people that are listening to other people on YouTube and other places on the internet as though they are the experts in the field. That can be very dangerous. They might be charming, they might be entertaining, they might come across like they actually know something about the subject. But when you listen to them and you're coming from a professional field, it's like listening to bubbles, and they're very easily popped. Let's look at these excursions in a little bit more detail. Let's start with Toba. That occurred 72,000 years ago. It was a failed, completed magnetic reversal, which means the magnetic field of the Earth reversed, but then suddenly went back to its original position. So that's what we know is an excursion. So Toba occurred 72,000 years ago. We look at the temperature, it increased from that point. So, that don't make sense with what that guy was saying. First we get the magnetic reversal, then we get an ice age. You would expect it to go colder, not actually warmer, but that was what actually happened. Then from East Greenland to Lashchamp, East Greenland being 60,000 years ago, Lashchamp was 41,000 years ago. Doesn't seem to be much happening in that temperature range. Although as it does go to Lashchamp towards that period of time, we're talking 41,000 years ago, the temperature is starting to decline. And then before that we've got Mono Lake 37,000 years ago. Well, we can see that the temperature hasn't really fluctuated at all in that period of time. Stayed pretty much the same. And then before that we've got Lake Mungo, and you can see again there is an increase in temperature, not a decrease. And then we've got Gothenburg, which is occurring in an interglacial period. So the temperatures have already risen around 6 to 8 degrees Celsius. And we've got another one occurring, Gothenburg, around 12,000 years ago. So, from what I can see, there is no distinguishable climatic event following a excursion. And the other thing is that people say, these are occurring roughly 12,000 years in intervals. Well, it's not complete cycles when we compare Last Champ and Lake Mungo, because there isn't 12,000 years in between those two. There's more like 6,000 years. So I wouldn't even say that these occur on 12,000 year cycles, because the years that I've given you are estimates. Gothenburg, 12,000 years. Lake Mungo, 24,000 years. Mona Lake, 37,000 years. Last Champ, 41,000 years. East Greenland, 60,000 years. And Toba, 71 to 72,000 years. They're not even occurring in cycles of 12,000 years. Guys, we have a perfect and reliable platform here at Maverickstar Observatory, and we are doing the scientific method, not just cherry picking data from all over the internet and presenting it in a nice, colourful, entertaining way. We're trying to just give you the facts. I'm sorry that sometimes these videos aren't showing dramatic volcanoes erupting and earthquakes bringing down buildings, and people swimming in floods, and then people freezing to death in sub-zero temperatures. What we're trying to bring is the facts, and I do ask for support. I put my hands up there, I ask for support, and that is because some of the things costs money. You can't have a Trimag system without spending money. You can't have magnetometers in different locations around the world without spending money. There has to be that realisation. We're doing something different here. We're not talking about it as self-proclaimed researchers. We are qualified to talk about the subjects we've got at hand that we do talk about, and we have the equipment to back up. And not only that, we've got an amazing archive on our website. If you've not been over there, check out poleshiftnews.com, because we have archived everything we've collected from day one. That should be enough for anyone to convince them that what we do deserves a little bit of funding. You be careful out there. That's all I'm going to say. We are approaching critical times, and it is very serious. There's a link down there if you want to help support us. I just hope that we've encouraged a few people to say, you know what, we're backing this guy, we're backing this observatory, because they talk sense. Link down there if you want to help support us. That's what I usually do, guys. Take care of your loved ones. As always, bye for now.